listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From Los Angeles, California, and Maria Menounos, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. Spotlight On is a long-form interview series featuring actors and TV personalities. And now, from the world's number one TV after-show platform, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On.
Hey everyone, we are here for Spotlight On. We are with the fabulous, beautiful Taylor Bright, who joins us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
We'll say at the beginning, where can we find you though? What's your Twitter and Instagram?
Okay, so my website is thetaylorbright.com, and my Twitter is thetaylorbright. My Instagram is thetaylorbright.
Cool, easy.
Easy.
Mine changes for everything because my name is very common.
If you have a problem, just Google Taylor Bright.
Google. Yes,
Google's the best thing we can use today.
Yes. So for anybody who doesn't know, Taylor is a very accomplished musician. She's a singer who got discovered on YouTube. So we're going to get into how that all happened, but I would love to know first how you began. So you're from Philly. So you're an East Coast girl, living on the West Coast. You got that vibe going. I love the whole East Coast vibe, especially, right away when you meet somebody from the East Coast.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
Genuine.
I mean, we connected immediately. I think that being from the East Coast kind of gives me an edge out here. People immediately are like, oh, you're not from here. Right. I'm like, no, I'm not from here. Very proud of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I like being from the East Coast.
Yeah. And you grew up in Philly.
I grew up in Philly.
So give me an idea of your family dynamic. You have any siblings?
I have a younger brother. He's 18, going to college next year. He's totally out of this business, totally focused on school. Played ice hockey his whole life. And I have my mom and my dad who work full-time, and they are not artists. They're both engineers, so this is totally new for them to be involved in this business at all.
Really?
But yeah, I grew up in the city. Definitely a city girl. Went to public school, so yeah, I'm definitely a Philly girl through and through.
So you, so you first realized that you wanted to sing. Was this at your, I read that you were doing musical theater camp at 8 years old, was it? So is that the first time you got the bug, the stage bug? You just needed to do this, or you just...
I think so. So my mom was looking for a camp to put me in, and this was basically the cheapest thing she could find, and it was easy to get my energy out of. So I went to camp, and I got the lead in the show, which we did Oliver Twist. So I played a boy for my first show, and I felt in love with it. It was so much fun.
I was Oliver too, I have to say. So
Were
we have
you?
that connection. I know.
That's great.
Yeah, I was the only person without boobs at like 18. So they're like, she can be Oliver. I was like, all right, whatever. That's
well,
fine.
I was 8, so
you
I wasn't
actually
there
had
yet.
a voice, and they wanted you for that reason. So that's great. So you did Oliver, and you loved it.
I loved it. I loved it. It was great. The energy was great. I loved singing. I loved performing. I liked being the center of attention. I was an 8-year-old with way too much energy. So it was perfect for me.
And so how important was it? So in the very beginning, did your family support you immediately when you decided, hey, I want to do this for a living?
Yeah, and they definitely supported me. They definitely made sure I was a normal kid, so I went to high school. A lot of my friends were homeschooled or left school. My parents made sure that I was in school full-time and that I was in a school that was focused on education, because they definitely wanted me to be educated properly, I guess, and kind of grow up as a normal kid. I left school in 7th grade first to go on tour, and I left again in 9th grade, but I always went back, and I always kept up with my work. When I decided to move out to LA, I think it was a big, kind of a big shock, because I was always focused on going to college. I went to Brown for a semester, and then I was like, I need to be creative. This is crazy.
Right.
So they definitely supported me, and they just trust me to get my work done, and they trust me and my talent, which is great. So I have great support at home.
That's excellent.
Which is so cool.
Now, I always want to know with people that get discovered, I always feel like there's this gap when you talk to anybody that has been discovered and has now become an accomplished in whatever field they're in. And I don't want that gap for your fans. I want them to know, what was that point? So you tell your parents, you're like 8 years old, and you say, I want to be a singer. Where did you go from there? Did you start singing lessons? Like, what was that first step that you took?
Yeah, so I told my parents I wanted to do this, which was like, I guess crazy for them, because they knew it was going to be like a big adventure, I guess. So we went to New York, got an agent. I signed with Abrams when I was 8 to work there, and I auditioned every week. I had vocal coaching every week. I had acting classes every week. I was in dance class every week. And you just kind of put yourself out there. You audition every week, and you kind of get used to it. And my parents drove me to New York about 3 times a week, and I took the train when I was 13. I started going by myself, and it started from there.
So so for anybody who is listening and maybe they're saying to themselves, I want a career like this. How did you get the agent? Like, that's the gap that I want. So did you submit yourself to different agents? Because Abrams is a huge agency.
Huge agency.
You were, at this time, you were not known. So how did you get that communication with Abrams?
I started in Philadelphia, so I started locally, and I started with a modeling agency, Reinhard. Then I got headshots and a resume type of thing, and I submitted myself to them. I went up for a meeting. I did a whole scene for them. We talked for, I guess, like about a week, and they loved me, and I loved them. And so that's how it really started. I mean, the biggest thing when you go in, you just need to go in being yourself with a big personality so they get a feel for who you are. You need to make sure that you represent yourself properly and they know that you're different and unique. And as an 8-year-old, I was definitely different and unique. I was willing to do anything. So
it's very inspiring to see somebody that was so young at the time, and you had such a good head on your shoulders. And I think that has a lot to do with your upbringing and your family and the support you had. But also, I just think some people are just born with that maturity, and other people aren't as lucky at an early age, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I started working and paying taxes by the time I was 9, so you definitely have to be professional. And I definitely get that from my parents. My mom always says, like, you have to just keep it real. Like, there's the glitz and the glamour is crazy, so you just have to keep it real and make sure that you get your work done. And so that's what I did, but I also had fun with it. I mean, I was still a kid, so like I was living my dream at that age, and it was great. It was a great time.
No, absolutely. And you were taking the train into New York for your auditions. These were mostly acting auditions at the time, correct?
Mostly musical theater, yeah.
Oh, musical theater. Okay. And you had mentioned on your in your biography that your train rides, that was kind of your moment of serenity.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into a little bit of what your creativity
Yeah, so I started taking the train by myself at a really young age, and I definitely couldn't relate to the adults I was sitting next to. They were like all business people coming from work and traveling back and forth, and I was a 12-year-old on the train with like my lunchbox, you know, type of thing. They're all on their computers, and like I didn't have one of those yet. I just had my phone, my Nokia, that I could play Snake on, and that's about it.
Oh my God, how fun was Snake?
Yeah, Snake was the best game.
Did you have the Nokia with the
thick Nokia, the black and white,
with the
one button?
No, but the thing you can do the walkie-talkie on.
Yes.
And was that the one that you could play Snake on?
I think you could play Snake on.
You're talking about the Nokia before that, the square one.
The square one, like the really thick one.
That was the best game ever. Okay.
So I had the Nokia. And
anybody else
who's
who's listening, you know Snake was the best game. That was such a... I haven't played a game since that phone.
I know, right? I know. And now they're all complicated.
I know.
And I've touched this and moved this.
I have no clue.
It's crazy.
But anyway, so you were on the train.
Yeah, so I was playing Nokia on my phone, and then I started just kind of, I guess, like thinking and things like that, and coming back from auditions and reflecting on what happened in New York or what happened that day at school. And I just kind of started writing on the train, and that was what I did on the train. That's what I occupied myself with, I guess. So that's why I wrote my first song in like a brown paper bag, my lunch bag.
And what was that first song?
I was about something so silly. I can't even tell you what it was about. Something about lip gloss or school. I was so young, and I just thought it was cool that I was writing anything at that point.
Right. And then now give me so you had this situation where you were going back and forth to New York. How long after that did you go into, was this like your idea to decide to go on YouTube and to just, put your music out on YouTube? Or how long till then was that, did that happen?
Yes. Yeah, so I started working in musical theater, and then there's a point in musical theater where there's not much you can do because you become a teenager and they start hiring 18 and older.
Right.
And with the person I was at that time, and I wanted to be in school and things like that, it just wasn't right for me to be in New York all the time. So I decided to kind of put my mind to it and get in the studio and write my own music. And I went to Nashville, and I traveled to New York again, and I traveled to Atlanta and to LA to record in Miami. So I started traveling all these places and writing my own music with all these people. And I finally wrote the song Striped Socks, which is about like my 5 best friends who were guys at the point, and I just kind of took each of their quirky personalities and put them into one guy. And we decided to shoot a video with my friend Mickey Fisher from Tour. just like a homemade video with like all of my friends in the park at my house in Philly. We put it online and it kind of took off from there. And I think that was my first YouTube video, and that was my first little discovery moment.
That launched you. So
yeah.
How soon after that was uploaded did you notice this was not did you notice this was not just you uploading a video to YouTube and you were just going to go on with your day? This was going to change your life.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that the point where it kind of hit a great amount of views and like hit the charts, and I started performing and people started really enjoying it and buying my music, was the point where I was like, wow, this is a career. This isn't just a hobby. Right. And that was the point where my parents were like, oh crap.
Right.
We did something here that like we were not expecting.
Right. So you really, uploading this, you didn't expect this.
Not at all.
You just did it just to share it with
It was
friends.
fun. My friends were all in it.
Okay.
I was in high school at the point, so like everyone was kind of like, oh my gosh, she has a song on iTunes and she has a song on YouTube. So that's like why we did it. And like we had the seniors at my high school do it for a lip singing battle for our Spirit Week. It's just a fun thing.
Right.
Until it became something else.
So it wasn't even expected.
Not expected.
And the views, did they come immediately? Or was it over...
I definitely think they came gradually. I mean, the first couple of views obviously came from my friends and people that were in the video. And then after that, after sharing and performing live is when it really started to pick up.
Wow, that's amazing. That must have been such an amazing feeling. So
it was great.
So gratifying to see that your creativity is appreciated.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
For an artist, I mean, that's the best thing you could ever get. That's better than any paycheck, just knowing that you have people that love your work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just encourages you to work harder and do more.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so your musical inspiration, who would you say, growing up, first of all, was your musical inspiration, and is it the same person now?
I always have trouble with this question because I like so many different people.
Yeah, you have to pick one. Give me a couple.
My dad is the one that introduced me to music, and he is totally like Michael Jackson, James Brown. So that's who I started listening to when I was really young, like Earth, Wind and Fire, Santana.
I love it. You are an old soul.
Yeah, so I started listening to that music, and that's what kind of brought me into the funk, I guess you can say. Then my dad started introducing me to like Spice Girls and Britney Spears.
Your dad introduced you to Spice Girls? Your dad's awesome.
Spice Girls. He bought me all the dolls. We watched the movie together.
Oh my gosh.
So that was like my first introduction to like what pop was for me, which is just like fun, like the girls having fun. So those were all of my inspirations. The 90s is like my thing.
It was the best time.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so I want to know, I'm going to go into a little bit now. So Striped Socks happens, you're 14. Then you go into another song called Psycho, right? Was this your next song?
Yes.
Your next big hit. And this was with Robopop. I don't know why I keep thinking RoboCop. Robopop, the producer.
It's a famous movie.
Okay, right. Robopop, the producer, who has worked with many, many talented musicians. And you kind of change you're not as much a young, innocent girl in this video.
No.
So did you do this because you actually were growing up and you wanted to show this other side to you? Give me a little bit of insight onto that.
Yeah, I mean, at that point I was 17, so I was kind of a junior and a senior in high school. And I guess at that age you think you're older than you actually are, and you start like exploring your creativity and your independence. So I guess I had like a little bit of a rebellious side. And that's where it kind of came from. I mean, it did come from me. It came from the producers as well. Like, the song was amazing, so we definitely wanted to work with it. And the idea was cool, I thought. And yeah, so that's where it came from. It's a little darker than I would say, like, who I am or who I was. Yes. But it was a cool song to do, and it was a cool video.
It was hot. You looked great.
Thanks.
You have great dance. You can dance too. Some singers can't dance. You can do it all. You're a triple threat.
I try my best. I try my best with the dancing.
I thought you were a great dancer.
Thank you.
And did you feel like, so a lot of your fans, I'm sure they're very young. I would think, I mean, I'm sure they span all ages, but I would think a lot of them, especially from Striped Socks, would be maybe from the ages of what, like 10 to like 15,
yeah,
16.
Absolutely.
So did you feel like you gained another age bracket of fans through this song?
I think
so. And maybe boys as well. I'm sure a lot more boys would be
I think so. I think there was a tiny bit of sex appeal in this song that the guys appreciated, and I think that I kind of gained my peers as fans as well at that point, because I was a little bit older than my fans. So I kind of gained my peers as fans. And they kind of appreciated what I was talking about. Like, the content was a little bit more mature than Striped Socks.
Absolutely.
So to really understand it, you had to be a little bit older.
Right.
So definitely helped.
And then now you're living in LA now. So what point did you move to LA? at what? We'll use it as the songs. Like, was it during
Okay.
Psycho that you were already in LA, or was it?
No, it was actually a while after that. I did psycho in high school, and then I went to college for a semester. I worked. I did Brown University there.
So you actually So.
I know,
I'm going to
it's
back
totally
up for a second.
confusing.
No. I totally get it. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure we stress this. So you were still in Philly. You gained all this fame. You're still living in Philly, going about your daily life.
High school.
High school was the same.
Yeah.
Nobody treated you differently. You didn't have any haters, any girls picking on you or anything. Because I know a lot of times when you're beautiful and talented and you're, everybody wants to bring you down at that point. And it's amazing that you had friends that stuck with you. That's great.
Yeah, I knew these kids my whole life. I went to school with them since I was 10, so they kind of were there on the journey with me. So I definitely had a ton of support from my high
love
school.
hearing that.
And to let me kind of just like do what I want and go on tour and go do a show and come back at my will was amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're a senior in high school and you apply to Brown and you get in, which is a huge, your parents were already proud of you. They were probably like, this is the golden child. This is insane. So you get into Brown and you decide you want to study environmental science.
Yeah, so
where did that come from?
I grew up in a very environmentally conscious neighborhood, so I think that's where it came from. And all my friends at that point were environmentally conscious. And Brown is like amazing. I'm technically still a student there on a leave of absence, pursuing my career. And it was just an amazing school that has a very liberal, open-minded point of view, and they kind of let you explore who you want to be. So at that point, I was doing environmental science and also studying political science and public policy and movement. I was doing dance classes there. And then I decided that I just really missed music.
Right.
So I went back home and I worked with a guy named Jim Beans, a producer named Jim Beans, and took classes at University of Pennsylvania that would just transfer back to Brown at the same time. So I continued my studies. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I need to move to the West Coast.
And you made the move.
So I said, Mom, I'm moving to the West Coast.
And you moved by yourself?
Moved by myself. I moved with my friend, my roommate, and we've split paths now. But I moved with my friend on here, and it was crazy. It was fun. And my parents surprisingly were like, go do it. Go do it. You should do it while you're young. So that's what happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you moved out here, it must have been shocking at first, especially coming from the East Coast. So what kept you grounded? Because this place can suck you in very fast.
Yeah. I think the thing that kept me grounded was just really talking to my parents every day, making sure I was focused on what I was doing. I knew that I had to prove something when I came out here in order to stay out here. Like I said, I still was a student. And my parents still saw me as a college student. So for them to really take me seriously as a professional artist, I really needed to prove myself out here. So there was no fooling around.
Right.
And I needed to adjust quick, which was hard because it's a big adjustment from Philly to LA.
Yes, of course.
But I did it, and it was a great experience, and I grew up a lot.
Now, how many years ago was this that you first moved out here?
This was not even 2 years ago, so like a year and a half ago.
Okay, so now you're 20?
20.
Okay, so you're 20 years old now. So these last 2 years, did you feel, what was your overall, looking back, biggest accomplishment since you've moved to LA?
I think really just kind of finding my independence and finding my point of view. As a person and as an artist. I think that moving to LA and kind of going through what I went through out here, which I have some crazy stories, car accidents and just moving 5 times and crazy stuff that has happened since I've moved to LA. I think that finding my independence and finding my strength and finding my point of view and who I really want to be and what I want to talk about is what I've gained the last 2 years, which is crazy because I never thought that it would take moving 3,000 miles for me to figure that out. Most people figure it out in college. That's what college is for. Everyone finds themselves type of thing. And I did it moving from college, so.
Well, you're young. You're young too. You're 20 years old. Most people don't even care about finding themselves at 20, so you're still ahead of everybody.
I'm sure I'm going to find more things out about myself.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
So now you're out here. What is your day-to-day life? Give an image to your fans as to what you do when you wake up. How is every day the same? Do you have a certain routine?
That's the beautiful thing about this. Every day is not the same. In college and at home, everything is kind of similar every day. You go to school, your classes, you study. Out here, it's totally different. I normally try to work out, which is like doing Zumba or something. Because
do you have a gym membership, or do you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a gym at my apartment, and then I also have a gym membership. So I love dancing for exercise. So I normally try to do Zumba every day. I normally have meetings, auditions, classes, writing sessions, vocal coaching, and then I try to sing every day, absolutely, and try to write every day.
That's so it's like an athlete.
Yeah.
You cannot be a basketball player and not play basketball.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. And out here, like, the car time is your friend. Even though as much as I hate sitting in the car, I absolutely hate traffic and I hate driving, it's really helpful because that's my time when I'm alone, no one can hear me, which is fabulous, and I can belt it out.
I'm sure everybody wants to hear you, though. It's people like me who don't want to hear, and I'm the one with my windows down. I don't know why, or who I think I am.
The car is
someone
where
like
you try new things. I'm telling you, because in my apartment, I'll get the call. I can hear you, and I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, you're
It's
kidding
3
me.
a.m., and I'll be like, listen, I just got home, and I really need to sing right now.
That's the down part of being in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
I know it's not easy with that. So you're in LA and you're working every single day. Who is? Are you actually able to finance all? Because these classes are expensive out here. So classes, is this all coming from you, or do you still get some support from your parents, or is this mainly?
I definitely have a ton of like financial support from my parents, and I'm also set up because I worked so much at a young age. I definitely have money saved up. My parents made sure of that. Couldn't touch it until I was 18. Now I'm 20, so I could touch it. But yeah, we are independent right now. So my parents are supporting me financially, and I'm supporting myself.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, every 20-year-old wants to support themselves at some point. So if they're lucky enough.
I'm definitely a normal 20-year-old as far as finances go.
You are? Okay. Yeah. And so what would you say, I want to get into some types of, I want to know what you would feel would be the biggest piece of advice you could give anybody your age who's looking to do anything. It doesn't have to even be singing. Anything that would involve taking a huge risk. What would you say would be your number one piece of advice for someone like that?
Just jump and trust yourself. I mean, moving to LA for me and like really embarking on this career has just been a huge risk and a huge jump, and trusting myself that I can get it done. I mean, I'm technically delaying my degree, which is like huge, especially in my family, coming from 2 engineering parents. It's like, oh crap.
Yes.
But yeah, trust yourself and jump. I think that's really important, especially if you're young. Why not do it? You're going to regret it, so you might as well just do it.
Absolutely.
So like Nike, just do it.
Yes, and exactly. So was there ever because obviously you're so energetic, you are such a happy person, but we're all human. Was there ever a moment in your life where you had a dark time, or maybe you felt like this is not going to happen for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Senior year, actually right before I recorded Psycho and did the video, I got really sick. And I was falling behind classes. I was hospitalized for a while. I had surgery, and that was probably the darkest time because I didn't know where I was doing next. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to school. I didn't know if I was going to be healthy enough to go to school. At that point, I did get into Brown, thank God. So I definitely had options, but I just didn't know what was actually a possibility as far as like my strength and what my family could do for me at that point. So that was scary for me. And then again, moving to LA, you're kind of starting fresh. I mean, you really need to network out here and make new contacts, which is huge because it's scary. It's scary going from the East Coast to the West Coast.
It is. But okay, so you have many fans, but there are obviously people who may not be a fan. So for any haters or any people who come, and you're on YouTube, you put yourself out there, which is a huge thing.
You need to expect the hate.
Yes. So how do you handle that? And do you Google yourself? And do you look up what people are saying about you, or do you ignore that?
Everyone says that they don't Google themselves, but that's crazy. Like, everyone wants to know what people are saying about them. So of course I Google myself. Of course I want to know what people are saying about me. That's why I put myself out there. I want their feedback. And then when someone throws a hate comment, like, I can take it.
You can take it always.
Yeah,
it's never.
I'm from Philly. Like, I've heard worse.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You know
From
what I mean?
Philly, I've heard worse.
And like my mom always says, just try to educate them, or you can just sing about it.
So you don't respond to anybody who's a hater. You'll just ignore it. That you take
I'll
the high
normally
road.
ignore it, or I'll put it into my music.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how. So you will take out a lot of your frustration or anything that's maybe negative. You put it into your music.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the best way to get back at any haters.
Yeah. Absolutely. Success as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to get technical. So going on YouTube, I just want to go back to that quickly and ask you, how was it scary for you to actually upload that? Like that moment where you were uploading something to YouTube? I know it must be very scary. You know, once it's out there, you can't take it back.
You can't take it back. That's the biggest thing. I think that, you know, you're really just putting yourself out there. And that point, I didn't know, like, what my teachers were going to think. I didn't know what my friends were going to think. Because really the only people that knew what was going on were the people actually in the video and who were filming it with me and who recorded it with me. And also, I wrote the song about my friends, so it's super personal. So everyone knows these guys who I wrote it about. Thank God, it was a great response.
Right.
And everyone had fun with it. I had so many people make fun of it, which was great because it was just, it became this quirky thing that we all really just enjoyed.
Right. So how do you, okay, so obviously there are people in your age bracket that are singers. For instance, Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
So what, you know, a lot of people say she's just super creative and this is coming out and this is all creativity. Obviously it has gained even more popularity for someone who is already super famous.
Yep.
So what do you think, I want to know your viewpoint on her path that she's taken in the past year and a half. And what do you think? Do you think that she did this for creativity-wise, or do you think it was other reasons involved?
I think Miley Cyrus is really smart. And I know that a lot of people don't like what she's done, but I actually think that she's just really smart, and I think this is really who she is. And I think now that she's an adult, she's 21, she can be who she is. She has the opportunity to show the world who she is, and she has a great platform to it. I think what she did is cool. I mean, I don't think that I would go that far, but it's controversy, and that's what we're in this business for. We're in this business to bring up questions and for people to talk about us and for people to talk about certain things, and that's what she did, and I tip my hat off to her.
And in the same sense, though, there are she has come out and said that she does drugs, Molly, marijuana, and all of that. So I'm just wondering what you would think, because in my opinion, I feel like a lot of her original fans can't relate to her anymore. So how? I'm pretty sure you don't do drugs. I can guess.
I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs.
Right. So how do you feel about seeing somebody kind of I want to say abandon their fans in a way? Do you feel like you should remain loyal throughout the time? So for your original fans who were 10 years old and now they're 20, and then there's new 10-year-old fans that love striped socks, how do you connect with everybody and still remain true to yourself?
I don't know if in her case she can. I think that she changed so much from being a 12-year-old on Hannah Montana to a 20-year-old Miley Cyrus. I don't know if that's necessarily what she wanted to do, and I think that she, at her point in her career, she had the opportunity to do what she wanted to do. And if she wanted to put herself out there in this way, then she had to do it.
Right.
And if fans decided not to continue to be fans of hers, then they decided not to continue to be fans of hers. But everyone's talking about Miley Cyrus. She was on CNN.
Right.
So she did something right.
She did something right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And how do you, now this is a lot of pressure in this industry, and living in LA, there's a lot of pressure. And you're in the craziest industry in the world. So how do you overcome any, there's so many eating disorders, there's so many, drugs, and there's just so much around. How do you stay focused?
Yeah, I did not realize how big like the whole eating thing and health was until I moved to LA, because on the East Coast, it's not talked about. But here it's in every conversation. It's like, oh, what did you eat today? What did you do today? Did you go hiking today? It's just part of the culture out here, which blew my mind at first. I definitely had to adjust to it. Definitely had to change my eating habits out here. Definitely became more outdoorsy, I guess you can say, just because the weather and like where I am, there's hiking and everyone's out, everyone has a dog. So,
Yes, I know, everybody has a dog that's not on a leash.
So it's just part of our daily lives, and I think the biggest thing is just to make sure that you keep yourself healthy. Eat right. I'm Creole. We come from eating like jambalaya and eating all day. It's part of our culture. So I think it's important to eat. I think it's important to also enjoy yourself. Like, don't get too crazy about it. Like, have froyo if you want to have froyo. Like, it's just a part of life, especially since I'm 20. I don't want to focus on it too much. Maybe when I'm a little bit older, I'll focus on it more. But I try to work out every day. I try to keep my heart healthy and things like that.
Well, you look beautiful. You have a beautiful
Thank
body,
you.
and I know there are a lot of girls that look up to you, and I'm sure that that's a great thing, because there's so many magazines, and you see, just going through the grocery store, you'll see magazines, and people are skeletons.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, and it doesn't go away.
Yeah, I think that the most important thing is be confident in your body type and be confident in your body shape. I definitely am not thin as a board, and I don't think I'll ever be, and that's okay with me. And I think that's important. I think it's important to like find your confidence in in something.
Exactly. Gain confidence from other parts of life, and then that won't be so vital.
Yeah.
But it is a serious thing, and it's great that you are inspiring girls to take care of their bodies.
Yeah, and definitely surround yourself with people that support you. I think the worst thing you can do is surround yourself with people that don't support you and your lifestyle.
Yep, absolutely. So would you consider yourself, if you weren't you, okay, so you're somebody else, but you still exist.
Okay.
Would you think that you could be a role model for your children? Like, do you feel like you're a role model for children? Would you allow your kids to listen to your music and watch your journey?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think so. My parents definitely parented with this very like open and liberal way of parenting. They didn't shield us from the world. Like I said, I grew up in Philly. We were super independent, and we got to kind of do what we wanted. And they kind of guided us through our childhood and made us in the adults we are today. So I think it's important for children, especially, to like form opinions on their own and be able to handle themselves in different situations. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would have my kids exposed to all of LA or all of LA's lifestyle or all of the music industry, but I definitely would expose them to what I'm doing.
So, no, I think that's great that you actually you continue to go out of yourself and take a look at yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people get so involved in their own heads that they don't take a look at who they really are.
Yeah.
And you do that, and that's why your journey will actually stay relevant.
Yeah.
And you will continue to grow in this industry, and it won't be 5 minutes of fame for you, because this is a serious business for you, and it is not. I'm going to call the paparazzi because I'm at Whole Foods right now, and that's excellent.
It's not too important right now.
So, what's your next step? Like, what is your ultimate goal? If I could wave my magic wand right now, what do you want right now in your life?
Right now, we're working on basically really just getting the right sound and finding the right music. I'm in studio like every day. I'm in studio tomorrow, writing and recording, and really forming my point of view. I know what I want to say. It's just how to say it and how to say it properly, so as many people as I can listen to it. And I think that's what we're trying to figure out right now, and I'm really excited about what we have going on. I think it's super cool. I can't say too much about it. I hope everyone's going to enjoy it, but it definitely
music.
represents.
This is all music.
This is all music.
Okay.
Definitely represents Taylor Bright and the artist I am today.
And does it involve anything with, I'm sure you didn't have any time for boyfriends, but did you have any boyfriends or exes that maybe your journey with them would be involved in the music?
I do have a boyfriend.
Oh, you have a boyfriend
I have
now.
a boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been dating for 5 years. We live on opposite sides of the country.
So you have a long-distance relationship
Absolutely,
right now?
yeah. For the
How is
last
that going?
3 years. It's good. I mean, I think we've gotten used to it. I mean, he's in school.
Okay.
So he's a normal college kid.
Okay.
Definitely not involved in the business at all and has no interest in being involved in the business, which I think is helpful because it kind of keeps our careers and that part of our lives separate. We're really good at communication. And that's really the key to it.
Right?
Yeah. But
he's obviously very confident, because a lot of times when you move, a beautiful girl moves to LA, if the guy is insecure, he's never gonna be okay with this.
Yeah,
so that's
he's
great.
actually great, super supportive, knows I'm focused on what I'm doing, so he trusts me.
So you've broke a lot of guys' hearts.
Yeah.
You're taken right now. Okay.
I'm taking everyone.
So would you say that your songs are gonna have a little more lovey-dovey genre to it, or will it be? Do you have any dark sides or any types of like more anger or anything that you can feel that would be a little more dark, like with exes or anything that's
I mean, I definitely have my fair share of exes and brokenheartedness and all of that, which definitely comes out in my music. I do use my relationship today for inspiration for music. We've been dating for 5 years, so we're not in like the lovey-dovey phase as
okay.
much.
So that's
So I don't know if it's going to be doe-eyed music or anything like that, but it's definitely real, and that's what I think is cool about it. Like, it's talking about something real, what's going on today, and it's not so much fantasy.
So who's going to be able to relate to this music that that is coming out that we don't really know too much about, but who will be able to mostly relate to this?
I'm hoping that everyone can relate to it in some aspect, but I really think that people my age, people of this kind of like next generation coming up into our adult lives will definitely be able to relate to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
In 10 years from now. Well, in 10 years from now, I'll be 30.
Yes.
So hopefully I'll have numerous albums out by now and touring, performing on radio. I would love at some point in my life to go around to different schools, to colleges, and kind of talk about things that I find interesting or that I find important. I was studying political science, so I definitely opinionated. I don't know if I'll have kids by 30 or be married by 30, but at some point in my life, I'd like to have kids and be married. I don't know if that will happen in the next 10 years.
Well, 30's the new 20, so
yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't know.
That's what I'm living by right now.
Yeah. I think out in LA, you'll notice girls take a long time to do anything that involves marriage.
Yeah.
It's really about careers out here. And being from the East Coast, I'm sure you know everybody when they're 20, they're already thinking about marriage.
Yeah,
it's
everyone's like,
different.
"Are you getting married?" I'm like,
No.
"Not this year."
So your ultimate end goal, obviously, is to have a huge music career that lasts throughout your entire life.
Absolutely.
So where does Brown come back into play? Would you do this maybe once where would this come back for you? Because you do want to, you seem like you really are going to go back.
Yes, I definitely do want to get my degree. The great thing about Brown is they're super supportive and they kind of let you explore yourself. And the way the curriculum's set up is that you can create your own concentration, if you will. But you can also take different classes and kind of figure out it's a liberal arts college, so I can take something in psychology and still get my degree in political science as long as I finish the requirements. So I definitely want to go back to Brown. I definitely want to get my degree. It's really important to me, really important to my family. And I just think it makes you a well-rounded person.
Yes.
So I don't know when it's coming in. It's not at this moment. I definitely am focusing on my music, but it'll definitely happen.
Will you use that degree?
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, I would like to, especially if I have something where I can kind of use it as a talking point or something to educate other kids on. I would love to use my degree. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm interested in. I did political science. Now I'm kind of interested in branding, just working as an artist. I've gotten a lot of experience in how to brand yourself and marketing and things like that. So I would love to put that to work.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions for you, because you're very smart. So what's your brand?
My brand? Well, I'm Taylor Bright from Philly. I'm definitely like a worldly girl, kind of your international chick. As you can tell, I'm kind of ambiguous, so I think I can relate to like a ton of different people. I came from a family of super open-minded, so I'm definitely that girl that listens to everyone and appreciates everyone's point of view. Yeah.
I love that. That's a great answer.
That's my brand.
So at the end of this interview, which is in just a few minutes, we're gonna premiere. We're gonna give you a little teaser of your newest music video called Daylight. So I want to know where the inspiration for this song came. And what?
Well, this is Maroon 5's Daylight, so it's a cover video. We did it with Kelly Marie Dunn and Thaddeus Dixon. And it kind of came from the whole thing that, first of all, I love Maroon 5. I'm a huge fan. And I think it's cool when girls do guy songs. And Adam Levine has such a high voice that it fits in perfectly. And this song was great then. I mean, it was hot. It was last year. We filmed the video. So it's coming out now. It's definitely a spring song. I had so much fun with this song. It's quirky, which I love being quirky. I love playing around. I love performing. So it's a cool video. I hope everyone likes it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to know, so you have this coming out, but this isn't part of the other music that you're doing. That's a different completely, because you cover music, like you, and doing that, do you have to get any type of permissions or anything beforehand?
Not for YouTube. If you're going to use it and actually put it into one of your own songs and purchase and things like that, that's different. But not for YouTube. It's just fun.
That's so cool.
And that's something that everyone can kind of do.
And you did turn the beat around too, I have to say, right?
Yes. We kind of remade that song.
Yes, that's a great song.
Rewrote it. Yeah. It's totally a fun song. It's a good song from the 80s.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And after we see the little bit of Daylight, I'm going to ask you just a couple more questions before we end, but whenever
awesome.
We're going to get that on in just a few minutes. And while we're waiting for that, look what we have.
Oh, look at that.
Like it's loading now. And so you were doing this song. Oh, here he is.
I have to leave soon. Why am I holding on? We know this day would come. We knew it all along. How did it come so fast? This is our last night, but it's late, and I'm trying not to sleep, 'cause I know when I wake I will have to slip away. 'Cause when the daylight comes I'll have to go, but tonight I'm gonna hold you so close. 'Cause in the daylight we'll be on our own, but tonight I'm gonna
goosebumps. My legs and my arms just got goosebumps everywhere. You are incredible.
Thank you.
I can't lie. I'm not really good at that. I would probably just say nothing, or I would just be like, that's great. You are incredible.
Thanks.
You are so, you just light up. What is it like watching yourself?
It's kind of awkward. I mean, it's that thing, you know, when you like hear your voice and you're like, oh, what was that? And so it's kind of an awkward feeling, but I've gotten used to it, and it's just fun to watch myself have fun. So it brings a smile on my face.
You have a beautiful, beautiful voice.
Thanks.
You are so blessed, and you were born with this.
Thank
This
you.
is what you're meant to be doing.
Thanks. I hope so, and that's what I feel like. So
You are incredibly talented.
Thank you.
So I want to know what we're gonna. Where are we gonna? What's the next thing? What's the next? If we have the music coming out, when are we gonna be hearing that music, or when are we gonna expect to hear that?
I'm hoping sometime this summer. I'm hoping sometime this year, but I'm also going to be performing live soon. We have a live set now set up, so I'm in rehearsals for that, and hopefully getting around LA performing. So you'll hear about that as well.
Great. And so where can we get all Taylor Bright information? Where can we keep up with you?
TaylorBright.com.
TaylorBright.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Twitter, the Taylor Bright.
The Taylor Bright.
Okay. And Instagram,
The
same thing?
Taylor Bright.
Awesome. And I can't thank you enough for being here
Thank
today.
you so much. I had
It was
fun.
So great meeting you.
Nice
and
to
I
meet you.
Wish you all the best.
I'm glad to have met another East Coast girl.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we can. We'll have the spotlight on YouTube. And I'm
Awesome.
Ashley Daniels. Thank you so much for tuning in. So cool.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.